Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Girls Lounge podcast with your host, Liz and KT. We're sorry for the upload a little bit later in the week, but your girls needed some time to recuperate from our trip, which is the theme of this episode. We recently went to Charleston with our group of friends, and we're going to tell you guys all about it, all the tea, the drama, what went wrong, what went right. JK, that's a little dramatic, but we're just going to recap our whole trip beginning to end. But yeah, of course, we're just going to talk about our usual life updates and all of our other segments before we get to that really quick. So, Liz, what has your life been post trip?
Post trip, I don't know if y'all can hear it in my voice, but I have fallen ill. I don't know what came over me, but I'm my nose is just super super runny. So if you guys see me, if you're watching this on the video, or if I just happen to be dying here sneezing, you know why that is. I've been having a headache, my body. Yeah, I've just been post trip. I guess it took out my body or something. I don't know what went wrong, but my body's going through it right now. And I need to get it together because I'm leaving on another trip in a couple of days. So hopefully I start healing. I do feel a little better, been taking some Tylenol, but yeah, I'm in my ill era right now.
Yeah, I definitely feel Liz with the not feeling the best. I'm not sick like Liz is, but it's just you know how when you're really tired, so you don't feel the best? That's what I feel right now. And then your girl got three bug bites, one on my face, one on my finger, and one on my leg. And so I'm putting some topical tropical steroid cream, and I think it's made my lymph nodes swollen, so that's a little annoying. But other than that, I've just been having a little a post trip a reset for the past 2 days. So honestly, as soon as I got back, I unpacked, did my laundry. I didn't end up falling asleep because I was exhausted, so I ended up finishing my laundry the next day. And then today, I feel I was just continuing putting my life together or getting my life together. I did some things for my mom, but still just kind of resting and stuff. I'm still very tired. I guess that trip just took some years of sleep off of me, and it's just taken a while to catch up. But I'm just feeling ready to just get back on track. And I was gonna say, oh, and I feel very inspired for life right now.
Yeah, KT is doing better than me because my suitcase, it's open, but it's very much, I have not touched it since we got back. I blame my illness. I didn't get out of bed at all yesterday. But yeah, I need to get to the unpacking and doing some laundry ASAP. Maybe I'll do it after we record today.
Hopefully, this recording gives you some energy. But now we're gonna get into our faves of the week. So mine is my camera, and this kind of is kind of in relation to our trip as well. I wanted to think of something that kind of coincided with our trip, but Liz and Kelsey also have cameras, so it's just so cool to just see their cameras, their little vlog cameras in action, and to have them see them vlogging. Because if you guys don't know, I have been plotting for Elizabeth and Kelsey to be vlogging since forever. I've always wanted that because we're the three social media people, and then our other friend Joe got a camera today, so it's it just feels like a Christmas miracle happened today. And so I just love my camera. I just love that I just have to take pictures, capture memories, and then I just love cameras in general because I love seeing my friends with their little cameras as well.
I feel like Kenny has probably been back there manifesting, doing something because the other day me and Kelsey we were texting in our group chat with Kennedy, our little Holy Trinity group chat where we send all of our social media related things, and we were all making a pact about how we're gonna get it together and get on our social media grind. So manifesting that goes out into the universe and that we actually follow through. All for Kennedy. And then my favorite of the week is my EOS lotion. I recently got this before we went on the trip because I was in need of a new lotion. And I know everybody talks about the EOS, the lotion, the vanilla cashmere, I think is the name of it. It's something vanilla. I'm I know everyone on the internet, they love that lotion. They said they smell good all day, get so many compliments. And I finally decided to get one. And let me just tell you, the hype is real. It smells so, so good. Just walking out of the shower and putting that on, it makes you feel so clean because it's a clean scent and it's not too overpowering because I feel like some vanilla scents are too much vanilla for me, but it's the perfect amount. And if you're in the market for a new lotion, highly, highly recommend it. And honestly, like my skin does last all day of not being like ashy or anything too.
Period. I might have to check that out. And then now we're gonna get into our sports corner. It was recently just the British GP, which I was like, of course, it was so fun on a weekend when I got a girl's trip. Like, your mind has to be in two places at once. Honestly, I don't have much to say about it, honestly, in terms of like practice, any F1 news beforehand. Um, Even for quali, I forgot to write down the quali results, but I think the only thing that like I was like ooh like tuned in about for quali was Lewis Hamilton. He was like at the top of the charts, like he was in provisionary, I think that's the word, pole position at one point, but he ended up being knocked down a bit. Or wait, or was it Q2? Actually, I think that was Q2. So I was like, I'm having very high hopes for Lewis Hamilton to perform really well this weekend. So that was all my thoughts for quali, honestly. And then the race results, it was Lando P1, Oscar P2, Nico P3, and it was a wet race, which those always bring the best action, the best results, because it's always just such a gamble, especially with the rookies. There was like five DNFs, I think. I know Colapinto, he didn't even start the race because he had a crash in quali. I forgot who else DNF. Oh, Kimi Antonelli. Did a Red Bull DNF? I can't remember. There was a whole bunch, but it was a lot of DNFs.
All my fave rookies are going through it this race, but honestly, I loved the finish. Obviously, like Lando and Oscar, they're up there, they're gonna battling for P1 and everything. But Nico getting his first podium, I thought was so exciting. Like Kennedy said, it really was like the rain. Like I feel like nobody expected him to like be up there, And honestly, it was so exciting seeing him and the way like he didn't know like what to do and all the clips I've seen and just I love how like all the community like comes together. Like obviously they're all like competing against each other, but they all like were celebrating him, like so happy for him, which I thought was like really nice to see.
Yeah, especially in a Sauber car, like no one really was expecting. But that's what I love about wet races because it just kind of clears the field, which gives teams like Stakes Sauber like a chance to like sneak up there on a podium.
It really was giving the F1 movie if you've seen it, which we'll get into a little later in this episode.
No, for real. But I looked at my phone because I was like, I have to tell them all the DNFs. And the people that DNF was Kimmy, Isaac Hajar, Gabrielle Bortoleto, Liam Lawson, and then Franco Colin Pinto didn't even start. So it was a rough race for the rookies. And it was also it was a rough race for some people up in the front. And that is Oscar Piastri. Even though he did finish P2, which is still a good choice or a good like position, but he did get a 10-second penalty because he like braked under a safety car, and Max was not happy about that, and Oscar also was not happy about that, and he was a little salty afterwards, which like I understand because it's like the championship is really close between him and Lando, and they both like winning the championship would be a good opportunity for both drivers, so like I understand it, but I just think emotions are running high. He was upset, but I feel like at the end of the day, he should just be like, you know what? I still ended P2 even with a 10-second penalty. So, in a wet race. So, he should be proud of that.
What Kennedy said, I did see some clips of him getting like a little like salty in the interviews and everything, which I do understand. Like, obviously, like he's not going to hide his emotions that well since it literally just happened. But like Kennedy said, he still did get that P2 finish.
Yes. And then I guess we can get a little update into our points and then quickly touch on some F1 news before we move on. So after that race, well, we didn't talk about Austria in whatever our last episode was, so I can like quickly go over those points as well too. But Austria, I had Charles Leclerc and Gabriel Bortoleto, and I ended that weekend with 131 points. And then Elizabeth had George Russell and Oscar Piastri, and she ended that race with 102 points. And then for Great Britain, I had Alex Albon and Pierre Gasly, and they both gave me 8 points and 6 points, and I have 145 points. And then unfortunately, Elizabeth had Carlos Sainz and Franco Colapinto. She gained no points from Carlos Sainz, and since Franco did not start, that was a DNF. So negative 2 points. So she has 92 points, but we still have a whole half of the season left. So, Elizabeth still has time.
Yeah, it was a rough weekend for me.
You know what? Yeah, it was a rough weekend for a lot of people. So, and then following that, this morning, the F1 community, I'm filming this on, or we're filming this on Wednesday, July 9th, and we woke up to the news that Christian Horner has been fired as Red Bull's team principal. And when I tell you, I was shook. Like, I feel like usually before things like this, there's definitely like rumors, little rumblings, but I feel like there was not really like anything. Like, I had no idea going into this weekend that this would be Christian Horner's last weekend as Red Bull's team principal, and it's crazy. Like, he's been the team principal for 20 years, and I think allegedly he was sacked just because of like per performance, and I just think a lot of people are just like, well, Max stay at Red Bull now. Like, what's gonna happen with Red Bull after that? And I just have to say, I'm ready to see the downfall of Red Bull.
I think, yeah, I feel like this could go both in two directions. Either one, this was like Max's like last, like, okay, they're doing this. It's time for me to get out. It's time for me to like go to a team that's doing well, that's performing well, because obviously Red Bull's going to go through some changes and everything. Or, and Kenny brought up a good point because we were talking about this on private message. Obviously, what else do we do? She brought up how it could be that it was like Max's team was like, you have to get rid of him, or like, and then we'll stay. Like, either he's gone or we're staying. Like, choose who you want. So I feel like it could go either way, and I really don't know which way it's gonna go. I feel like it's 50-50, honestly. But honestly, I think Red Bull is in need of a new change in direction with how the season is going, because they were that team that was like, they were the McLarens. They were the unbeatable team. They were literally that one season where like nobody was not qualifying. Nobody was like finishing first except for them. But I think it's changing direction time. And
Yeah.
honestly,
Oh,
oh, I was just gonna say, and honestly, from what I've seen of Christian in the F1 Drive to Survive series, I don't really vibe with him.
yeah, and I was gonna say, and then before Red Bull, it was Mercedes. For Red Bull to come in, just kind of knock Mercedes off their dominance, then to be dominating is like actually crazy. But I think it's pretty known that Max Verstappen's camp, mostly his dad, is very, him and Christian Horner do not get along from what I have seen. So I wouldn't be surprised if Max's dad had a big part of it. And I was listening to the Red Flags podcast, and one of the hosts, it was Brian, I think, or yeah, I think it was Brian. He made up a really good like idea, a little proposition of what Toto Wolff should do. Because it's been kind of rumors like, oh, is Max gonna sign with Mercedes? Which ever since I've been into F1, which has only been like a year, but I feel like it's been rumors for a while. They're like, oh, like Toto Wolff, he's talking to Max, like, ooh, but that always just has not been necessarily an option. But he had the idea of like, okay, Toto Wolff, he needs to, get Max Verstappen on Mercedes side and just kind of be like, okay, Max and George, they be the two drivers. He sits them down and like has them squash off their beef, and then move Kimi Antonelli to the Alpine. And so, he has that time to mature, make those rookie mistakes without being on such a high team or such like a top team with a lot of like um expectations and pressure. And it's like Alpine, I mean, they got Pierre Gasly. I feel like still the second seat, it was Jack Doohan, now it's Franco. They're both not really have performed. So it's like I feel like the second seat is like kind of up for grabs in my opinion. So I feel like that's a perfect plan, and I hope someone from Mercedes was listening to that podcast episode.
See, I do think that is a good plan, but then my man Franco, bro, where's he gonna go? But also, I don't know. I feel like it would be kind of like a step down also for like Kimmy, because you go from like top team up here to like Alpine and everything, which is not like a terrible team or anything, but obviously they're not at like that level. But like you said, I think that there is a lot of pressure, and as we've seen, like Max has been in that Red Bull seat like literally his entire like racing career, and all the pressure and hate that he got when he first got on there, and like a couple races ago when Kimi made that like crash with Max and everything, and some of like the hate that he was getting, like there definitely is a lot of pressure put on him, especially at such a young age. Um, but honestly, I think that the George and Max duo would be iconic. I feel like they would be so good together, especially with the way George has stepped up and has been performing this past season. And honestly, we need some more competition up there, because the McLarens, if you're looking at those like rankings, they're over here like 400 points or something, or like 200. They're like double points of everybody else. So we need some competition up there.
Me personally, I like what's happening right now, by McLaren sailing off into the sun. That's what I like to see.
While I do that like that, I feel like, it might be a little bit more anticipation in the podium finishes is needed.
No. My anxiety can't take that.
I know Kennedy goes into each race and she's like, oh, I don't have to worry about P1 and P2.
Exactly. I just worry about Ferrari. Where y'all gonna be at? Y'all gonna disappoint me, or y'all gonna be up there with my McLaren?
And I think that's all we have for our little F1 news. And then just like a little reminder, we're not drawing for this weekend when this episode is uploaded because there is no race this weekend. And now we're gonna go ahead and move on to pop culture. And again, the girlies, it was a dead week for them, but we're just gonna touch base on something. Since our last episode, we didn't have our like little intro segments, which is when this was really happening. But Haley Pham edits. So for those of you guys who don't know Haley Pham, she is for the girlies. She is the OG girly. If you guys have ever heard the term girly pops, she's the one who coined that term. She's a YouTuber. Literally, she was like not an OG YouTuber, but she was like OG, but not OG. She was the second wave of OGs, I feel like, in the YouTube world, And her most recent videos are like book videos. She's like on Book Talk. She's a booktuber, recent author too. She is all for the girlies, all good vibes. But her husband, Ryan Trahan, which he's like the more bigger name now, I feel like, between them two. It used to be the other way around, which is crazy. But Ryan is the one that has like a bigger following and everything, and he does all of those I would say like unique YouTube series where he's like raising money and everything. Like he did the penny series when he went to like all 50 states, and he just like started off with a penny and just like went around and like traded all the way around. And right now he's doing 50 states to find the coolest Airbnb, and he's doing that series with Haley. And somehow, I don't know how, there's all these like edits of Haley. Like she's like the intro of the edit, and then it's like all these like sports edits. Like we have like MLB, I don't know, F1, even literally any sport you name it, there's an edit with Haley. And it's actually like I feel like really crazy because I'm like, why? I still don't understand why Haley, like why is it that way? But she's taking these edits by storm.
No, it is just so weird seeing all these boys find her. I'm like, you guys don't know Haley like I do, like the girlies do, because it's like real ones remember watching her like dance competition vlogs. Like I was there, and when she lived at home, when she was still in high school, like you guys don't even know the lore, and it's just like, how did I was like, who was the first person to just watch a Ryan like Trahan video, like, oh, I'm gonna use this girl in an intro, and I'm talking about like the official like account of these sports teams are like making these edits of Haley's face, and I just want to know her reaction about it so bad. So I'm like, she has to know because like verified accounts are making these edits, and it's just so funny because it's so random.
That part, like the verified accounts, was what really got to me. When Kennedy sent me one and it was like F1 account, I was like, what is this? Like, what universe are we in where Haley's being used at the face of all these edits? And like, as someone who has been watching this series, I'm like, how did you guys get this? Like, see this clip and we're like, yes, that's the perfect intro for an edit. And I'm telling you, that's like the most random stuff. Like she'll be I just saw one today, and she does this like face where she's like moving like her like neck like this, like to the side, and it like transitions to some soccer edit. Like it's the craziest clips. I'm like, I don't know. Wow, like the editing people, they really have a vision because they see like a 5 second clip and they turn it into something.
Yeah, it's very funny. I actually literally just got one today, but it was just like one I already saw. But I'm just like, wow. I'm like, who's gonna be next? Who's the next random person these boys are gonna find? I'm like, you boys don't deserve her. Cause some of the search bars on these TikToks, I'm like, yeah, you guys are done. You guys are done.
Yes, like let's just keep her protected, especially with her book coming out. We don't need anyone coming after her. No, just leave her for the girlies, you guys. Just leave her alone, please.
Exactly that. And now we're gonna get into what we've been watching. So me and Liz have both watched some things, which is good because I feel like it usually just be me because Liz actually be having a life. But thank God Liz is on her binging game. But we both have seen the F1 movie recently, so we can talk about that. Liz, what did you rate the movie out of 5?
I feel like I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I agree. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. Which I feel like isn't bad. Like I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. But it was enjoyable. Like I would see it again, but I'm not gonna be but I'm not necessarily raving about the movie.
Yeah, I don't know if I would watch it again because there were some parts I felt were a little slow, but like when I watched it, I enjoyed it. Like obviously it wasn't perfect. Like I do see why it's getting some of the hate that it's getting, like the way it portrayed women or like blah 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 blah. But I feel like at the same time it did do like a good job. Like obviously, it did come down to some physical attraction for the woman, of course, as it always does in all these movies. But like they did show her like being strong, like intelligent and everything. But it's like I do understand the hate. Don't get me wrong, I do understand the hate. But honestly, I felt like it was like a good, like if you're not someone who's like 100% into F1 and like knows all the rules and all the logistics, I feel like it was a good like step into the F1 world. Like I'm gonna go watch it with my mom and my brother, and my mom doesn't know a whole lot about F1, so I was like explaining some things about like, oh, like this is like these are like actual teams, and like this is how like they qualify and like they race and like the points and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was like pretty fun to do as some like watching it with my mom who doesn't know that much about it. And honestly, I liked how they filmed the parts with like the actual like racers, the drivers. I really loved it because I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like I've seen this clip, I've seen this, like that's crazy to see. There was some scenes, especially the scenes where it was like the team principals like kind of like yelling at each other, the like kicks one, where I was like, that was definitely from the Drive to Survive series. I feel like I've seen that clip before, them just like kind of like yelling at each other. But like overall, I thought it was like a good movie. The plot, I was like, I kind of wish it would have been a little bit different. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, like, for me, honestly, I don't know, like, I feel like a lot of F1 fans are like, oh, like, the movie wasn't realistic is part of why they didn't like it. But for me, it's just like, I understand why Kimmy said the movie's a bit long. Because you definitely felt how long that movie was. And for me, the whole movie or the whole woman aspect of it, honestly, the romance part of it felt a little weird to me. But that woman aspect I honestly didn't have a problem with. It was like the F1, like the woman pit crew aspect. I was like, really? Of course the woman gotta be the dumb one. And everyone else is just fine, which I was like side eyeing that a bit. And there are just like some parts of the movie that felt a little bit overly corny to me, especially with like the I forgot what's his name, the black guy. I forgot his name.
I was it Justin? I could be lying. That's just a random name that came to my head. I know the main driver.
Yeah, the main driver. There are like some parts of his character I was just like, okay. And even Brad Pitt's character, I was like, this is it was just very like acted up. That it just wasn't my favorite. But I really did love watching the racing scenes. Like I was like into it as if I was watching an actual race. I wasn't the biggest fan of how they portrayed race weekends. I found myself getting a little confused on like where are we at during the race weekend. And I feel like they could have shown maybe more of a better format of a race weekend. Even though this isn't like an F1 documentary, like obviously they're not gonna be like, okay, this is how quality works. This is how the race works. But I don't know. And then obviously, like there were some unrealistic parts that had me like side eye, but it didn't necessarily like ruin the experience for me. But I really enjoyed all the like the F1 cameos for the F1 fans, and kind of like how through movie plots they kind of were referencing like things that actually happened in Formula One, like for example the car situation going on fire, like that actually did happen, and just some other things, and just kind of referencing like older drivers, saying like Ayrton Senna, things like that, because Brad Pitt's character raced with him. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, overall, it was like it was an okay movie, okay slash good movie.
Yeah, I did wish that they would have shown at least. I know obviously like not every single of the racing scenes that they did done like the quali, but I feel like if they would have done at least for the first race the quali of it, that would have been cool because then you can see like this is why they're in like the position that they're in and like why they're talking about the positions and all that kind of stuff. Or you could even see like the growth because they went from like in the back to like towards the front of qualifying and everything like when they started the races. And I did like the racing scenes. I honestly the scene with the crash, I liked that scene because I feel like they were like I like the relationship between the two drivers and how like they were like working together. I feel like it did a good job at like portraying how like they're competing against each other, but they're also like having to help each other. Like the strategy of him like holding everyone behind so like they wouldn't catch up to like his team and everything. Like I feel like that's kind of realistic because like the drivers they protect one another because they're trying to get points, which is all that it's about. I feel like maybe there could have been a little bit more like explanation into that because if you're going into it completely blind, you wouldn't really understand like why he's like you're just like well he doesn't want them to pass him but you don't get like the whole thing behind the points and everything but I did like the crash scene. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are just like some things they just like happen. I'm just like I feel like for newer people who don't know anything about F1, there should have been like a little bit of an explanation, even though like it's not like an F1 documentary. But I feel like they could have made it a way to like fit it into like the Hollywoodness of like the movie.
And I'll go ahead and get to the other things I've been watching because I didn't get like too far into my watching, so I don't have too many explanations to give you guys. But I started watching The Buccaneers, which is a series that's on Apple TV. I think on the last episode I mentioned this. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I did. But anyways, I finished season one completely. Absolutely loved it. And season two is currently like coming out with like weekly episodes every Wednesday. So I've been watching that. I think I finished the first episode and I've been getting like clips for the rest of season two. And let's just say, once again, I swear, every show, the female main character, they must make her just be super annoying or something because all the clips I've seen, I'm like, why are you being so stupid and making these mistakes right now? So we'll just have, that's why I've kind of like been putting off watching it and catching up to like where we're currently at. But she's really pissing me off and I hope it doesn't go the way I think it's going to go but we'll have to see. So I've been watching the Buccaneers a lot. And then Squid Games came out, the final I think it's the final season. I could be lying to you guys. I'm pretty sure it's the final season. But the new season dropped. I started watching that right now. I didn't get that far. I'm like still on episode one, but gonna watch Squid Games. Got to see how it ends, you know. And then Scandal. So I was in my binging era a couple months ago of Scandal, but I was watching it on Hulu and I don't have Hulu like ad free. So I like binged all the way up to season four and I watched like a little bit of season four and then I didn't finish it and started watching something else. But then I tried to get back into it, but the ads on Hulu sometimes like you don't have any ads, I feel like, but then sometimes you're watching and you get ads every like 10 minutes and the ads are really getting me annoying and I couldn't like get through an episode. But it's on Netflix now, which means ad free for me. So I've been watching Scandal and I started watching it from like the top of season four because I didn't get that far into it, so I could just like refresh my memory and I'm hooked again. Once again, I'm hooked. I gotta keep on watching for my girl Olivia and my man, the president, Mr. Fitz. Gotta see how it goes for them, and hopefully, I finish that before I catch something else's attention or something else catches my attention. And because the next week, you guys, best believe we'll be talking about the summer I turned pretty.
Yeah, yeah, you already know. And then for me, I've been watching Love Island. Love Island, it just has taken over my life. It ends this weekend. Yeah, I think on Sunday, I think. So I'm just enjoying the last couple weeks, and I just love it because the last couple of episodes have just been magical. Because spoiler, Sierra is gone, and I swear it just made everything so much better.
I forgot I have been watching Love Island. Before I was like just watching like bits and pieces or like whenever my sister, my friend would watch, but I'm like actually watching. The way last night I stumbled when I was ill in bed, I stumbled upon a TikTok live and suddenly an hour went by and I finished the whole episode on the live. But yeah, now that Sierra's gone, I suddenly all the characters I wanted voted off. Why are they starting to grow on me? Spoilers if you didn't watch in July the 8th episode, Taylor and Clark got voted off. And I was like, sad. Like, I originally wanted them gone, I couldn't stand them. But no, like, after that episode, I was like, stop. Like, I really liked them. So, it just goes to show Sierra was the common denominator, and I'm glad she's gone. I will say it caught me off guard. Me and Kennedy were together when we watched the episode where she got like, not voted off, she got kicked off the island and they were like Sierra is gone. I was like, we had to like replay it because that was crazy. Did not expect that at all.
Yeah, honestly, low key, it should have been. Iris and Pepe that should have been voted off just because they're the newest couple. I'm just like, wait, I just started liking everyone, and Clark and Taylor are gone, and they literally just closed things off, and Taylor just made the cutest little like effort to like ask the question like, do you want to close off? And it was just so cute. But I really can see them thriving on the outside. And then of course with Sierra gone, that means Nick and Alandria can finally have their chance. And for all the doubters, even because like there's like a whole bunch of contention, a lot of talk when they did come back from, they had that make out and then they both kind of like ended it. But then we can see like they just felt guilty. Their minds were other places. So now that those obstacles are out of the way, they can finally concentrate, and I'm obsessed. Like they are meant to be, and if you don't see it, then your negativity is not needed.
You know, the differences, like I've seen so many like compilation of clips of like how Nick would interact with Sierra and how he interacts with Alandria, and he just seems like all this pressure's like off him. Like he just seems like more like himself, the way he's just like laughing and like staring at her and stuff. And while I do like the Nick and Alandria, like I truly, truly do, with this being the final week, I don't want them to win. Like I do want them to make it to the end, but I don't want them to win the money because I feel like I'm like, what about all these people who've been working, for weeks on their connections? They've truly been doing all this, and then them to in a couple days win. I don't know. That just like I don't want them to win. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I do like them. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like there's other couples, and I'm a little scared for Hutta. I feel like she's in her little self destruction era right now. I'm gonna need her to get it together and just really express the way she's feeling because she's very valid and Chris is valid too. But I just need her to like just open up, just be honest, please.
I don't know who I want to win for because I feel like the only like strongest couple who's been together the longest is Ellie, Shelly and Ace. But like I don't really like them. Like obviously I've come around to like everyone, but like they're not my favorite couple. And I know a lot of people want Amaya and Brighton, but I feel like that connection is still very fresh as well. Hot take, I don't think they should have gotten the hideaway.
No,
No, like yeah.
no, yeah, okay. On this, Ace and Shelly, Ace is growing on me. I used to want that little short man off that Philip, but he's like growing on me. But Shelly, I don't know. She still rubs me the wrong way. Something about her, I'm just like, you're still not seeming to understand why you're the issue in these issues you guys have had, and why is he the only one apologizing? I don't know. She still rubs me the wrong way. So like, they're not my favorite couple. But also, I agree with Kennedy. I don't think that Amaya Papai, love her so much, but I don't think her and Brian should have gotten the hideaway because I feel like they just took that like very fresh relationship and automatically like made it super intimate. And now I feel like it's just like I don't know. I feel like it was very rushed into it. If anything, I guess like Shelly and Ace should have got the hideaway maybe or something. But I don't know. I feel like I agree with Kennedy. I think it was too new. And also, while I do like Brian and Amaya, don't get me wrong. Like he's like okay, all the cons people see about you, they're pros to me. Like okay, something about him. I'm like, it feels too good to be true. I feel like you're gonna hurt my girl Amaya somehow. I don't know, but we'll see. I still can't. I feel like everything's just now finally starting to like. Okay, we're making progress. Like it's giving Love Island again. Like it's not just giving Island, Friend Island, or whatever it was everybody was calling it. But we literally only have Wednesday no episode, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and the finale Sunday. I just feel like there's so much.
I know, I feel like people are actually in couples that they want to be in. They're actually with people they like, and there's just not enough time to explore that. I'm just like, I know Love Island USA is like a lot shorter than UK, but I'm like, surely y'all make an exception for this season. Like, please make it as long as the UK. I think the UK is 8 weeks and US is 6 weeks, so a lot shorter. But I'm like, these couples, we need that extra time. And also, I was talking to our friend Ariana who watches Love Island, and I was like, low key, they should have put Nick and Alandria in a hideaway when in the beginning they got dumped from the island instead of putting them back in the villa to explore their connection.
I agree. They should have kept them in the hideaway like 2 more days or something, rather than that one night they were over there, and like really made it more suspenseful and everything. Because obviously, like they got back and they wanted to like explore that previous connection. And then that's when everything went downhill. Everything went downhill when they came back to that villa and Sierra was plotting, and I stand by that statement.
Exactly. But now that Sierra's gone, literally, the vibes are just immaculate. Like, I truly think she was the bad energy. And I feel like it's more the situation where, like her, Shelly, and Alondria were definitely like a little trio, but maybe so like Sierra was like fueling it, and those two were just more outspoken. But now that evil energy's gone, it's all fun and games.
Exactly what KT said. The episode when she was gone, when she was like kicked out, I the episode ended and I was like, why did I not hate anyone that episode?
No, for real. I'm like, wow, like everyone's happy. The Islanders are getting along. Like she was the problem the whole time. And now I have one last thing I watched. Monte Carlo. We were gonna watch it on the way back from Charleston to Kentucky, but the iPad situation of the car was not working. So I was just like, I'll just finish it later. So I watched it last night. And you guys, I forgot how good that movie is. I haven't watched it in literal years, and like I remember like some things, but like as I was watching the movie, I was like, wait, I like remember more of this plot than I thought I did. Weirdly though, the plot, I like remember most things except for the plot about um Selena Gomez's character like having like a doppelganger, like celebrity person. For some reason I just forgot that, but like I remembered most of everything else. So it was a good watch, and if you haven't watched it, go watch it because they be struggling. They be stingy with that movie. It'd be hard to find sometimes. So if you have Max, it's on there as of now.
Goodbye, Kitty. Now you're forgetting that she had a doppelganger. I feel like that's the whole premises of the plot. She remembered the plot, but like didn't remember the plot, you guys.
No, but I just remember like the romance part of it, and then like the sisters didn't get along, and they got sent. And I was like, wait, how did they end up in Monte Carlo again? Like I just remember the randomest details.
See, mine was the opposite because I recently rewatched it too, and I remembered only like the doppelganger and the switch. I didn't remember none of the love interests. I didn't remember the sisters coming. I don't remember their little feud. Yeah, I was a complete opposite experience.
See that's like us as humans. Like I just remembered the useless details, and Elizabeth remembers the important details.
And that's why it works so well.
Exactly. And now onto song of the week. We have the same song of the week. Spoiler, but it is now. Let's see if I can pronounce this right. Actually, we'll let Liz pronounce it.
Okay, I feel like we should do it together. I'll pronounce like the first two words and you do the last one.
Okay.
Okay, let's see if this works, you guys. Dame un.
Good. Yeah, I can't roll my R's. I can play like a little part of it for you guys. You guys need to add this. It's the song of the summer. Saying it now. As you can see, a banker.
Honestly, I love that song, and I feel like that's the perfect transition into our video because into this the main segment of this episode because that song I would say was the song of the trip. So we're gonna be doing our little girls trip recap. So for those of you guys who didn't know, we went to Charleston. We do an annual. I feel like I can say annual now because we've done this for the past, including this summer, the past 3 summers we've done a little girls trip. The past 2 summers we did to like the Indiana Dunes / Chicago is what we did. And this time we're like, okay, let's switch it up, you guys. Let's do something new. And if you guys haven't listened to our little recap from last summer, you definitely should. We have a podcast episode. And then you should also check out Kennedy's YouTube channel, which we're going to link down the links to the 2 episodes to our past 2 girls trip videos. So you can watch those 2. Honestly, not that I'm biased or anything, but on it for real, even if I wasn't in the group, I feel like those are some funny videos to watch if you guys are looking for something. And it's a perfect trailer for Kennedy's new YouTube video that hasn't dropped yet, but will soon. But anyways, so we've been doing this annual girls trip, and this year we decided to switch it up. We're like, okay, you guys, like let's do something different, and we went to Charleston. I feel like honestly, Kennedy ate with the suggestion. I feel like it was Kennedy who like did Charleston. We were like, okay, let's do beach. We were originally looking at like cruises. No, then we were looking at Florida, and it wasn't looking too good. We were losing hope, and we were like, okay, well, like to Kentucky, the closest beaches are like North Carolina and South Carolina. So like, okay, let's look in that area. And Kennedy was like, what about Charleston? And lo and behold, Charleston made it out of the group chat.
Yes, everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome. It was a little bit of like, a self-serving pick because I've always wanted to go to Charleston for a while, and I'm glad I did. got to go with my girls for the first time. But yeah, I'm super happy with it. Y'all, this trip it was just so good. I'll let Liz figure out where we should start first.
So I guess we'll just like walk you guys through our like day by day, and then we'll just like talk about it and everything. So for reference, we went from a Thursday to a Monday, and we actually went 4th of July weekend. So we were there Thursday, July 3rd, all the way to Monday, July 7th. July 7th, yeah. So we left bright and not even bright and early in the morning before the sun came out. Jill was our driver, so it was six of us, so four of us went together and then the other two took another car. And Jill like left her. I was the first one getting picked up. I got picked up at like 5:20 a.m. or something. Very much was mute. I think everybody like fell asleep the first part of the drive. I think Jill was just like sitting, like driving, I think she got some pics of us sleeping, but honestly, the drive is always like the good part. Once we're all like finally up and awake, we were like listening to our playlist, vibing.
Yes, and I'm gonna note we just didn't let those two people suffer. Originally, this trip was gonna be seven of us, but one person sadly could not go, so there were six of us, and the cars were already situated. So that's why it was two and four. But yeah, we had Jill driving. I got the flags. I definitely stayed up the longest after being picked up in the morning, just in case Jill needed someone to talk to. But I just like read for the most part, I think. But yeah, we just drove for a bit, good vibes, and then eventually we stopped at a Chick-fil-A and we got some breakfast. I'm like looking at my camera roll to like help guide me through if you guys like, okay, what she's looking at. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. We just like vibes. We held our breaths under tunnels. Oh, quick plug. I have a TikTok and I did like a little TikTok vlog of like a little bit of our travel. So if you want to see like some visual to it, you can also go to my TikTok, which I guess I can link below. And then we pulled up to our Airbnb after I don't even want to say long 9-8 hours because honestly it went by quick to me. I don't know if it's just because I wasn't driving, but I feel like it was a quick drive back. But we put up to the best Airbnb ever.
I also feel like it went by pretty fast, and I drove like the second half of it. There was a point where I felt like I was like, okay, I was like getting the idea of some gum, and then we like when we started like snacking and everything, I was like, okay, I feel like the sleep kind of just like came over me a little bit, but it was like that point, that second half where like you're just kind of like snacking. Got to try some new Joyride candy from Ryan Trahan's videos. If you guys know, you know. And then we, like Kennedy said, we got to the Airbnb, and I feel like Kennedy or Jill, one of them two is the one that found the Airbnb. They did a lot of that, like that Airbnb research and everything, and we had the best Airbnb possible. Our last year's Airbnb was not it. Go check out that YouTube video so you can see what we're talking about. We're talking about like a little preview, like it had broken blinds, stains on couches, questionable neighbors. Yeah. This year, none of that. It was such a cute place. It was like a one-story house. It had 3 bedrooms, which is the perfect size for us, like for real. There was like two of it in each room. We had 2 bathrooms, which was really nice. When you're getting ready, and like especially like when you go to the beach and you're like you come back and you just like take a shower every day, even if you're not like washing your hair and everything, just like rinsing off the sand. It is really, really nice to have 2 showers, especially with a group of 6 girls. But the place was beautiful. It had like a little living room. It had a little like studio, like office kind of space. Just the way it was decorated, the vibes were perfect. And then the patio, yeah, like the backyard patio area was beautiful. It had like the not fairy lights, the hanging lights and everything. And it was just the absolute perfect Airbnb for the absolute perfect weekend. I don't know if Kennedy wants to add anything about that.
Yeah, and it was like so cute because we all just kind of like unpacked a little bit, not like fully, but I was just like, we're gonna be here for a couple more days than we usually do. So what, I'm gonna unpack, just really take in the full experience, especially because we were still waiting on the other car. And I was telling Kelsey, it literally feels like we are college that we are college students and that like we live in like a beachy coastal town for college and like this is our little house. And it was just very cute. And then that other car was about an hour or so behind us. So we just like were chilling. And then once they came, they got their stuff in and then we headed to the beach. We mainly stayed in the Folly Beach area. I know there's like Isle of Palms and Sullivan's Island, and I think also like James Island people go to, but we just stayed at Folly Beach, which I think was a really good area. But yeah, we just went over a cutie little bridge around like 6 o'clock. Five. We were like a little bit worried about the weather, but honestly, for the times we needed good weather, I feel like we did have it for the most part. And but we just went to the beach for a little bit up until like sorry about my voice, up until like sunrise a little bit or like right before, and just enjoyed it. The way yeah, the waves were a bit crazy, but from what I remember, it was a good little time. We were just excited to be there.
Yeah, like Kennedy said, we actually like whenever we were outside, we had great weather. When we were inside, it was like rainy at some points, but when we were outside, the weather was honestly really nice, minus the wind at the beach one day. But other than that, it was great. And then that same night, day one, we headed back to the Airbnb. We showered and everything, and we made some dinner at the Airbnb. Honestly, my favorite part of our like trips that we do is the cooking together because we be struggling to cook sometimes. Honestly, this trip we had no failures, nothing went wrong, nothing went awry in the kitchen. If you wanted to see something go wrong, watch Kennedy's year one trip video on YouTube. But we made some frozen pizza, and honestly, that pizza was delicious, amazing. We made some frozen pizza with some salad, and Kennedy chose these like garlic bread. It was delicious. It was amazing, and we just sat around the table. The table was super cute, and we just had our little dinner and just like talking and everything, which is always the best part of a girls' trip, I feel.
I agree. And when you mentioned our dinner, I forgot to say we went on a grocery store run. And I just had to say that grocery store run was like my first bit of like culture shock of the South because we're from Kentucky. And I feel like people who are not from Kentucky are always like, oh yeah, like Kentucky's the South. But it's like, no, it's not the South, especially where we're from. Like, we're not in northern Kentucky, but like I feel like we're in the like we're just like right there, you know? And I'm just like I never understand why people say it's the South, but I'm like, okay, maybe it's the country vibes. But after being in the South, like I was in South Carolina, I'm like, yeah, there's no way Kentucky's the South. Like one of my first interactions was one of the locals. I just knew they were locals. Was like we weren't even gonna run into each other. I was just going like straight, and he was like going the other way. I think he was gonna turn in, but I was going like this way. We weren't even gonna hit each other, and he was just like, "Whoa!" Like one of those like dad jokes, and I was just like, and like when we were cashing out, like the people were just like so talkative. Like, girl, if they did that back home, it's just about, "Hi, how are you?" and that's it. No, they were giving us their whole life stories. Like it was so southern. And like I've been to Florida, but like Florida, that's a different type of vibe than like other parts of the South. And I was just like, wow, like we are really in South Carolina. Like even like I've been to Myrtle Beach before, but even like the difference between Charleston and Myrtle Beach was just like crazy. And just even what they were wearing was just so much different than like what we see back at home. So it's just like very interesting.
Definitely a different type of being in the South. But that was basically it for the first day. I don't know if you have anything else, Kennedy.
No, I just know I was knocked out and slept good.
Oh yeah, y'all. We had some of the best sleep of our lives. So then we're gonna get into day two, which is Fourth of July weekend. Fourth of July weekend. Fourth of July. It was that day. And that was our beach day. So we like woke up in the previous night. We had ordered some subs from Publix, and our goal was to get to the beach kind of early because we knew it was gonna be pretty busy at the beach, and we weren't necessarily worried about getting a spot at the beach, but the parking, because the parking in like the Folly Beach area is street parking, and then like the places that have like parking lots, they were like upcharging so much. Like the previous day, the parking we saw was like $20. 4th of July, it said $40 all day. So we did street parking, and obviously street parking is gonna run out, and if it doesn't run out, you're gonna be like way further out. So we did like head out like kind of earlier in the morning, like around 7 something, I think. Because we ordered our subs for 7:15, so we headed to the Publix, and our subs were not ready. I think it took them like 30 minutes, not gonna lie. We were running a bit behind, but it's okay. It worked out perfectly fine. So we got our subs, and then we headed to the beach bright and early. We got our little setup going, and it was a good day at the beach, but it was kind of windy. So our last year at the beach, we took like a sheet and then like laid on and use our towels to like shake off, and then we would, excuse me, we would sit on the sheet. But the wind was like really windy, and our setup was not the most ideal setup.
Yeah, it was just too like the beach that we go to in Indiana, dude. There's just a very different type of beach environment, so it was just a lot. We tried to have an umbrella, but we were like scared that it was just gonna kind of like fly away. It was also kind of hard to put that thing like down in the sand, and there was some points where it did start raining. Yo, I had an umbrella. It was over me. I was like, yeah, like this beach umbrella ain't gonna cut it, but like it was a good thing we got to the beach early because I feel like on the way there I feel like we didn't have much traffic, but like you could tell like we were leaving like people were like we like got a pretty good spot like towards the front, but there's like people way behind us. Like it was super packed. Oh, I just remember something we forgot to say for yesterday. Our friends allegedly saw Logan from Big Time Rush. Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, we're putting pause on Friday and we're going back to Thursday. So we're sitting at the beach and our friends are like, okay, we're gonna go on a walk. Me and Kennedy, we like stayed behind. We were like in our little reading, we were like chilling. And they come back and they're like, oh my gosh, you guys won't believe who we saw. And Kennedy, she whispers to me, they're gonna say they saw Drew Starkey. I was like, yeah. They want to say they saw Logan from Big Time Rush with his kid and his wife and like his dad or something. I don't know. And they were like, yeah, like everybody was like taking pictures with him. Or like, low key, I was like, okay, it could be believable because I'm like, that's so random. Like they plotted and they thought Logan from Big Time Rush out of all people. And then Kenny looks at his Instagram and it looks like he's somewhere like beachy, low key. So we're like, okay, let's go walking. So me and Kennedy, we head towards that area and we're looking around. Logan is nowhere to be seen. And so Kenny's like on the phone with our friend Ariana because she's the one that like told us to. And she's like, so where do you see him? So me and Kenny, we're like walking around. We like make a loop around. We like, I know these people are like looking at us weird because Kenny's up here on the phone looking and I'm like breaking my neck too. We're really looking at these people. Logan is nowhere to be seen.
And we were exactly where they said they're like near the tennis thingies, and we was like kind of close to people. Like we was in between. I feel like the people and the tennis, or not the tennis, the volleyball courts, and we was standing there like, Logan, where are you? Like we were not hiding it. We did not see him. I still they swore on it to the end of our trip that they saw him. I did not believe that. But because I'm just like, there was very little time from when they came and then me and Liz left. I feel like so for him to leave that quickly, like for a crowd to disperse that quickly, I feel like wouldn't be possible. But and I was like checking his Instagram throughout, and I just never saw anything specifically that was like, oh, like he's in Charleston.
Yeah, I agree with Kennedy. I feel like they were lying to us. And then, like, towards the end of the trip, they would, like, laugh weird when they would say it. Yeah, I still think they're lying. I didn't see it, so it didn't happen. I just find it so, like, that's such a specific person that you see, Like, Drew Stark could be like, okay, yeah. Like, you're obviously going to say Drew Stark because they're, like, filming and, like, Outer Banks and everything. But Logan from Big Time Rush, I still don't believe them.
Yeah, but anyways, back to 4th of July. I think we left off on like, oh, like we got there at a good time. And we also, I feel like we got to see more of the area. Like we paid more attention to the area. And it is so cute down there. Like it just has a bunch of little surf shops, restaurants. It was just good vibes. And yeah, we got there at the perfect time. I loved our little setup minus the messiness of it. Like I swear I've never been to like a beach like where like sand gets there, like just sand gets everywhere so easily. I was like, oh. But yeah, we had a really cute setup. And honestly, it was just a pretty good day.
And all we really did was like we'd go between going to the water, playing mermaids. I will say those like waves were kind of like brutal. I like these past few months I was like at the ocean, the waves were not like that. The water was calm there. The waves here would take you out. They were taking me out specifically. I feel like they had it out for me compared to everybody else, but it's okay. We had a great time. We just like go in the water, play mermaids a little bit, then go back, do our little reading, just back and forth. A perfect beach day, if you ask me personally.
Exactly. And then after we left that day, we actually went to this place we saw on TikTok, or someone saw on TikTok or Instagram, and it's called the Pineapple Hut. And you guys, I'll put on the screen like we got the first day, but they give you like pineapple or like lemon soft serve in like a cup, a float, or inside an actual pineapple. And that's what we did. That was the best choice ever. It was so delicious, so refreshing. And like I'm notoriously like I'm not a big like pineapple girl. It's not that I don't like pineapple. It's just like not necessarily my first choice of like fruit flavors, like pineapple, mango. But like I will have it, and it was pretty good and pretty refreshing.
I'm still thinking about this pineapple. It was everything I needed. It was a perfect amount refreshing. It wasn't too overpowering. Yeah, it was literally amazing. And like the actual pineapple like chunks were perfectly in season. Like they were nice and sweet. Because sometimes pineapple like if it's not in season, it's not gonna taste right. You know? No, it had the perfect yellow color to it. We got me, Jill, and Kelsey. We shared the one that came in like the actual like pineapple thing, and at the end, like once we ate everything, me and Jill like broke apart the pineapple and we're like trying to get it out because there were still pieces on there. And it was so good, you guys. Like I would go back just to get that.
And it was like a good price too. Like they could easily charge like $20, $25. Now it was like $12, $11. Like it was really like cheap.
Yeah, so if you're ever in the Charleston area, highly, highly recommend. They even have it like not only at Folly Beach. I think they have it like around Charleston. Like I know in like actually like downtown Charleston, I think that they also have it there. So highly recommend. And then our friend Autumn, she got the one that was like the little mixed one. That's the pineapple one, and whatever their flavor of the week was. And this week it was lemon. That was also fire.
Wow, I did not realize she got that one. I should have tried that. But yeah, it looks like they have some really good flavors. So surely we go again. No, I'm just playing. But then after a Long Beach day and getting our pineapple head, we were like, okay, we're tired. We're feeling disgusting. And we're ready to go shower, chill, and get ready for a long night ahead because your girls hit the town of Charleston. I do have to say, Charleston, the nightlife there is definitely interesting. Not necessarily in a bad way, just like, oh, like, this is what it was. So we got ready. We all had some really cute outfits. Shout out Elizabeth's mom. I wore her cowgirl boots. I forget how hard cowboy boots are on your feet, or just like boots in general. Like for my feet, like they're just like very like hard, like no cushion. So I was struggling a little bit, but other than that, I felt like a baddie walking around in my boots. Like these boots were made for walking, and they made me feel powerful. I'm like I low key need a pair, but yeah. So we just went downtown, got cute. We went to two places. Honestly, there's not really like a lot of places downtown for real that were really given like what we wanted, I guess you can say. First place we went to was Uptown Social. That was not my favorite place. I feel like if you like country music or if you like frat parties, that's more your vibe. Yeah, it was it was alright. I don't know. It was just really hot, and I honestly did not like the DJ there, and wasn't a fan of the music the live band was playing either. But those are just my thoughts on the first place.
I was really hot there. So they had like a the downstairs was kind of cold, but the upstairs was like a rooftop, which I feel like if it wasn't packed, it would have been like a cool vibe and everything. But there's like obviously like dancing. So it's already a small place. It's a rooftop. So everybody's like dancing and everything. And it's not even dancing because it's also like super tight. Like you're mostly like standing kind of. And it was so hot, you guys. Like I had to get a napkin. I was like sitting there like patting my face. It was super, super hot. So honestly, I'm kind of glad we left. We got a little recommendation. Some guy like started talking to us or something, and we started asking like, so like, where's the place to go? Because we were looking for like a vibe of like just like dancing and like singing, that kind of vibe and everything. And the recommendation he gave us, which Kenny's gonna come in here in a second with the name because I don't remember, was everything that we needed and where we ended up spending the rest of our night at.
Yes, that guy. First of all, he was really cute. I just had to say, and he was a little short though, so it wouldn't be someone I would go for. But I think he was feeling our friend Jill. But he like came over. It was like really funny. Because all of our friends were, or not all of our friends. Elizabeth was like, yeah, like I saw him like his friends, whoever he was like telling him like go over there, and like they did like ruffle his head up when he was like talking to us. He did come over with a weird question, so he may need to work on that. But at least he was brave because I would have done that. But also another thing I wanted to note out about like their nightlife one. Why was there like grown people? I was like, oh, like I forget like people do that in the South, I guess. And another thing is the guy asked us because we were like where can we go? He asked us if we were underage, which I thought was interesting because I feel like he wasn't the first. I feel like another person said something about like, oh, like are you guys underage? Like just in terms of like, oh, like to go places, like where can you get in, which I'm like, dang, they must really have a problem with that, because I feel like, of course, people go out with like fake IDs, but I feel like where we're from, like at least in Kentucky, and when we went out in Cincinnati, that wasn't like a thing. You know what I mean? Like that's not really a thing around here where people ask you that. So that's like another thing I thought was interesting about just like nightlife there. But we went out to this place called Bodega, I'm pretty sure. Mwah, mwah, chef's kiss. It was given like Love Island on like that patio area of it. It was really big too. It was like the first half of it was also like a DJ too, but it was like where the bar was at, cool vibes, and then back in like the second half of it was another DJ, also cool vibes. There was like lights going. They had like the little like glowing sticks, and this is a vibe. It did get really hot at one point when more people started coming, so like I had to sit outside. I was like, I'm literally like sweating, and there's like no airflow. But they did have fans, which is good. But because more people kept coming, we kept like shifting. But the DJ, he was playing so much better music, and we had a good time. And I love that there was so much like seating outside, and it was amazing. The cover was a bit more expensive than the other one, but honestly, it was worth it. That place was so fun.
Yeah, what I liked about it was like the different like areas. Like if you got hot, you could go sit outside. There was like a fan, there was seats, you could lean. Like there was people like obviously like dancing on both parts, but there was a lot of people also just like chilling and sitting outside, which I thought was like really nice.
Yeah, my only critique, but not only critique, is that I'm like, I wish they would have just like lifted up the garage doors that they have out there, or like had speakers outside. Because there's at one point where it's like, that's not necessarily that like our night was ending because we were still there, but we were just like, we just want to sit outside and chill and sit by the fan. But I would have liked to like still hear the music, because like both parts of this bar were playing good music. Like both DJs were really good. So if you're ever in Charleston, literally just go to Bodega. Like don't waste your time at any other place they tell you to go on TikTok. This place wasn't even on TikTok, so go to Bodega.
And then our day three Saturday, Saturday, July 5th, yeah, we just like slept in a little bit, you know. We were like, okay, we'll just like go into this was our Charleston day. So we are like, okay, like we're gonna sleep in, obviously, and then we'll just go maybe like brunch vibe is like when we'll head into Charleston. And that's exactly what we did. And I'm really glad that we did that because I feel like just like after you go out, all you really need to like feel good is sleep, you know? So we didn't even like sleep in necessarily like that late or anything, but I think we headed out probably like around 11 or something, like 10:30 or something like that. And we were on like an online waiting list for this restaurant to have brunch, and I think it was called like Ruby Red. And before that, before we're like while we waited, we kind of like walked around like some of the little boutiques, and then we were also close to like the pineapple fountain area, so we walked around there, took some photos. I personally was unimpressed with the pineapple fountain. I don't know if that was it seems like me and Kenny have differing takes. I don't know. I thought it was gonna be like bigger. I don't know. It was just like that's it. I don't know. I just like I expect like the actual like pineapple part of it to be bigger. Not that like the fountain wasn't big, but I feel like the pineapple part of it was like small in my.
Yeah, I will say it definitely was smaller than it looks online, but I don't know. To me, I was just like, oh my god, like I've seen this online. Cute. Cute spot to take pictures. I didn't honestly really have any expectations for it, so I think that's why I was like easily impressed. But we did get some cute pictures from it. It was interesting that people there like they let their kids play in that water, which I thought was interesting because my mom would never. So that was interesting. And we were also by like a really cute like water walkway. And also like there's a pier which I recognize from Steph's vlogs because it's the pier where she like reads on with the swings. I recognize that. So that was like really cool. Which though to add, literally before this trip, I was like, oh my god, like what if we see all these influencers, celebrities that I know that are gonna be in Charleston during this time? I saw nobody, but it's fine. But yeah, we just saw the pineapple fountain, and then like Liz said, we walked to a brunch spot. It was called Ruby's Sunshine, something like that. But it was like pretty good. I shared beignets, something like that, beignets. I don't know, with somebody or not with somebody with Ariana and Autumn, and then I had banana Foster French toast eggs, and then bacon.
And I got just like their traditional breakfast, which is like bacon, eggs, and grits. I'm not really a big grits girly, but I enjoyed them. Obviously, I added some like sauce a little bit on them and like salt and pepper, but I enjoyed them. I ate it all, and I had like a fried tomato, I think is what I had, and the biscuit. The biscuit was so good, you guys. The biscuit, it had like this butter, which was I think it had like cinnamon in the butter or something, and the biscuit was just like nice and warm. That the butter melted on it. That biscuit, that made my meal right there.
Yeah, Liz was eating up that butter. I looked up, I was like, dang, she really like scraped it to the pan.
You know, after one point, like the butter just kind of melted, so I couldn't tell where it had it and where it didn't. But anyways, after that, we just kind of like walked around. We went to Rainbow Road, try to be influencers and get some cute pictures there. And then it started. The day it would like randomly kind of like sprinkle a little bit, and then it would be gone. It would be like a 5 minute sprinkle, and then it would be gone. So it was cool. And then the sun would come out, or the sun wouldn't even go away. It would like sprinkle with the sun out. So we went to Rainbow Road, and I feel like when we got there, there wasn't anyone there. And then out of nowhere, everybody wanted to show up and start taking pictures there, I guess. But then after that, we just kind of like walked around, and we went over to the little like the city market area. And I didn't realize how big it was. It was like separate buildings, all like in a row, kind of. And when we showed up, it kind of looked like there was just two buildings. But then you kept on going, you kept on going, you kept on going, and it just kept on like getting longer and longer. I at one point like I found this like seating area, and I just like sat down because I needed like a break, you know. And I just kind of sat there, and there was like a fan, and it was hitting me, which felt really nice.
Yeah, I also did not realize how big it was and just how many vendors. I'm like, geez. And like, really, my only thing I really wanted was to get a painting, which I did. I got a little painting because I'm going to do a whole like room transformation within the next couple of weeks. So I wanted a new painting. And I was like, okay, after a certain point, I was like, I'm done. I'm going to go find Elizabeth and sit down. I know at one point I was thinking about buying, not thinking about buying a watch, but our friend Joe was thinking about buying a watch, and we found this watch lady, but like I don't really like when vendors are pushy. Like, just let me look. Just like let's just let the people look. But yeah, the city market. I know Kelsey got like a little necklace. I can't remember. Oh, I think Joe got like a little postcard. So, you know, it was cute. I definitely would like to like go back during the day where they moved the market like outside. I think that would be like really fun. But it was really good to just see like all the local artists and stuff, and it felt good to contribute to a local artist. And then after that, we went to King Street, which whoa, that street was way busier than I thought it was going to be, honestly. It was just like lines of people. Like I swear, like I feel like when I was in the streets in New York City, it wasn't even that crowded. And mind you, this is little old Charleston. The sidewalks are only this big. So just people like you're walking in a straight line on both sides, kind of like how the city market was, honestly. But like we went into some really cool stores though, just like local boutiques, and just like shopped around. There's this one store which I'm like, ugh, I really wish I got like a sweatshirt from there because we ended up like not going to a souvenir store, but it's whatever. But there's this really cute store. I can't remember the name of it, but they had a golden retriever there, and he was the cutest thing. I'll put pictures on the screen, and we did pet him, and he was adorable, and it honestly made the whole shopping experience.
And I will say, although it was like really busy, I loved how everybody walked on the right side of the street because after having been to different places, some people don't know how to walk on the right side of the street. I will say, like when you entered a shop and like when you were leaving, you had to be ready. Like if there was an opening, you take that opening and you go. Forget about the rest of your group. Hopefully they caught that opening because it's just like constant people like coming, but at least everybody's walking on the right side of the street. I cannot emphasize this enough. It makes it so much easier like walking when everybody's walking in a cohesive direction instead of like bumping and like especially with the tiny streets and everything. It just made it so much better. Like if you were like going up the street, you're going into those stores. You weren't like if you were going to the other side, you better have crossed the street and walked on that side of the street, you know? It truly just like that part of the southern etiquette and manners, yeah, that part goes a long way. But we just kind of like Kennedy said, went in and out. I know Kennedy and Kelsey, there was this candy store that we went into, and they had Swedish candy, and they like got some Swedish candy to try. But it was just kind of just like walking and like souvenir shopping, but also just like enjoying the vibe.
Yeah, it was really cute. Only one day we can be rich enough to afford most of those stores on that street. But it's really cool. Like it's like bougie. Like we saw people with like Louis Vuitton bags and Gucci bags. So it's definitely some designer stores over that way. And then yeah, and that's pretty much all we did. I think at a certain point, like, okay, I think we're ready to go. I think we started getting bit up a little bit. I think I got bit up. That's when like one of my first bug bites occurred. And yeah, we went home. Oh, I remember. We were after the candy store, I think we're like, okay, let's try to find the photo booth. On TikTok they said, okay, there's like this photo booth on like 120 King Street. It's inside of a restaurant that was close. So we were like, okay, we're done, we're going home. And because we had dinner, but we were like, we want to rest. So we just did a whole bunch of walking. Like we did almost 10,000 steps. We've been up and at them. So we're just like, we just want to go home, rest, and then just wait for our comfy dinner. And that's what we did.
And I feel like sometimes you have to recognize on vacation that you can't do it all and that it's okay. I have definitely learned that over my trips I've done. And yeah, we were at that point where like we're tired, we're about to get angry at each other, so let's just like head home. So we like rested, got ready, because we had a fancy dinner night and I loved this dinner. I loved our outfits too. They were so cute. Check out our Instagram at the girls lounge. But we had a great time and we got dressed all fancy and everything. I feel like that's just a lot of fun, just like dressing up with your friends and then going to like a little nice dinner, like treating yourself and everything. So we headed back into the city for this dinner at this place that we saw on TikTok, and it lived up to the hype. It was called like Palato, I think is what it was called. It's like an Italian place, and it definitely was giving like fancy restaurant in the sense of like the waiter, he was like explaining the menu, explaining like what they do there. He was definitely like a very talkative guy, there was one point where like we were just not answering back because we didn't have anything to say, but he was definitely like very friendly. I will give him that. But it was like you sat down, definitely reservation ahead of time. And so we sat down and he was like explaining like what they do, how it is, how they work, how they're different from other places, and how everything in like the kitchen is like made there from scratch and like all this other stuff, right? So, anyways, the food we got, because I feel like that's an important thing. So both me and Kennedy, we had like the same kind of like style of dinner. So Kennedy shared with Kelsey and I shared with Jill. We got 2 plates of this pasta. I think we both got like their take on like vodka pasta, and my other pasta was like a spaghetti with like pepper and something, I don't know, but it was, you guys, the food was very very good, delicious.
You could tell that food was made from scratch. It was like you eat it and it almost kind of just like melts in your mouth, like all the flavors. Me and Kelsey, the other dish we got, it was like some type of ravioli. So good. My favorite was the pasta. And then I also ordered like it was like a bruschetta or burrata crostini, something like that, on some bread, bro. It was so good. That bread that they put it on, I don't know, like just all the flavors together were just so good. And they have another location in Nashville. I'm like, I need to go there now.
No, because it was a burrata thing and Katie gave me a bite of it. It was like you could taste all of the flavors and it just, again, just melted in your mouth is the perfect way to say it. It was so good. It was like a little pricier restaurant, but honestly, you got what you paid for. Like everything felt like it was like good ingredients. Like you could taste the difference in the ingredients. It was chef's kiss, you guys.
Okay, yeah, so we just essentially grubbed the whole dinner. It was really good. And like I was like actually full. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to be full. Cause usually when restaurants are like family style, like you share, like I've been to those type of restaurants and even then I'm like, okay, like whatever. But I was like full and he was like, okay, I'm gonna try to convict you on the dessert menu. And I'm like, I really still wanted some dessert too. Like, not gonna lie, a lot of the dessert looked good, but I was genuinely like, I am so full. If I eat anymore, I will yak all over this table. So I was just like, nah, like we can't do dessert. But I was very tempted to. Like, if someone would have really convinced me and like be like, we can split it, like we share, I would like, yeah, order dessert. But yeah, it was like really good, a really good place. I would for sure go back there again.
I feel like if he had explained some of the menu, some of the items on that dessert menu, he would have got me. I would have been like, say less, sir.
What you said.
He did explain, but the one he explained was like a chocolate one, and I'm not a big like chocolate girly, so I was like, okay, that's my sign of not good dessert.
Yeah, me neither. And also, I don't know where I saw they had tiramisu, Maybe it's like at their Nashville location or they just don't have it anymore. But I was really hoping for a tiramisu, but they didn't have it. So I was like, well, then what am I gonna have? But yeah, we just had honestly a really good dinner, and even like the area it was in, like it had like a kind of like courtyard place that it shared with like the other restaurants, which I thought was really cute as well. And we got some really cute pictures.
And that was basically it for our third day. Oh my gosh, day three. And then I want to not emphasize, but I just want to say like every night we were watching Love Island. So this was the episode where Sierra was. Oh no. Oh, maybe was it? I don't know.
I don't
I think,
know.
but one of these nights was when Sierra was like, "Adios, peace out. Nobody wants you here." But yeah, every night we was watching Love Island, which, as you know, is a whole intake in and of itself with a group of people. But that was all we did for night number 3. So then next day is day number 4, and it was another beach day. And honestly, this was perfect beach day weather because the wind from our previous day was not there. It was a great day, if I personally say so.
And there was like a tropical storm that came through the night, so that was like a little like, oh, because that was not on our radar at all during planning, so we were a little worried about the weather, but it was literally perfect. And like the storm made the sand just so much easier to just like put the umbrella in, lay down our towels. It allowed us to get some really good shells. So honestly, thank you, tropical depression, for helping us out for our beach day the next day.
I forgot all about the tropical storm. Yeah. Our like Uber driver the night before was like talking about, "You guys know there's a tropical storm coming." We're like, "Oh, there is?" But yeah, we had a great time at the beach. I thought it was perfect beach weather. Like it wasn't too windy. We finally the umbrella was cooperating with us. It was a perfect day. Perfect day to like kind of like wrap up like a beach vacation.
Yeah, it was amazing. And the fact that we didn't know a tropical storm was coming is literally just so like girlhood coded. Like, why would we know that? We're just girls. We're just trying to have fun, go through the beach and party. Oh, they're just so funny.
I think that's like everything that we really did on that day. I could be wrong. Oh, like during the day part at least.
Yeah, we just kind of chilled. I know me and Liz read. We ate some pasta salad that was pretty good. And that's pretty much it. We were just chilling, laying in the sun. It honestly got a lot hotter than I thought. The waves were pretty crazy too that day too. Like honestly, my throat was burning like after all of our beach days because of just all that salt water. Like my lips felt like I just got done eating some McDonald's fries.
Yeah, my eyes were like I would come out and like rub my eyes to get the salt water out, and I looked behind me and knocked out again. Um, but after our beach day, we headed back to our little Airbnb. We took showers, we got ready for dinner, and we headed back to Folly Beach for a more like casual kind of dinner, at the beach town and everything. And we ate at this place called Pinky's. Which was a vibe. It was a cute restaurant. It was like it had like pink, obviously like pink decor everywhere. It had like pink Corvettes on the inside, like booth kind of setup, and it also was like right on the beach. So we ate outside, or we originally were sitting out. We ate outside the whole time, but we were at a table that was closer to the beach, kind of. But then it kind of like as the night went on, it kind of started raining a little bit, and the way that the roofs are set up, it was kind of like leaking onto our table. So we ended up moving tables, and I will say they didn't have like lights outside. Like it was kind of we were kind of like just eating in the dark, which was kind of weird because they had fans, but I guess the fans didn't have lights. I don't know. That was kind of weird to me. But we had some dinner, and then they had a photo booth, and we were like, okay, we missed our photo booth the day before, so obviously we're gonna do this photo booth. And so first we're like in groups of like 2, like taking pictures, like Kennedy and Kelsey over there like looking at Pinterest or something because they're like over there like practicing their poses or whatever. And so me and Jill, we like go in there first, and we go in and we're like, okay, like let's look at Pinterest too. And we find one and we're like, this is definitely what they're doing. Cause we had seen them, they're talking about like some gun pose or something. And we're like, and then they talked about like a kiss or something. And we're like, yeah, this is definitely it. So we're like, okay, let's copy them and see their reactions. So we did that, and then we let them go in, and then we showed them our pictures. And sure enough, I'm pretty sure like almost all of them were the same except like the lip one. They did one with their like lip gloss or something. But I don't know if Kennedy wants to add anything about that.
I was just like, everybody wants to be us.
And I'm not gonna lie, I thought the pictures turned out really cute. So then, so after like Kitty and Kelsey got theirs, and then me and Jill got ours, we decided to do one where like where like where they do. I saw this one TikTok today, and they were actually like successful in theirs. But we tried it. So the picture setup was like 4 pictures. So we're like, okay, let's pair up in like groups of 2, and then the last one we all run in and are like take a picture together. I'll let Kitty explain.
Let's just say it was funny. It was a hot mess, and it was funny because me and Kelsey, were we one of the last? I don't know. All I remember is I could see the thing shaking from our movement, and I've like Jill handed me her phone to record. I was like, oh Lord, this was it was like a mess, but a good mess. It was just really funny. I mean, the pictures, like, I feel like they low key like turned out cute because they capture like the chaotic vibe of it all. But I'm like, we need to remind Joe to send it to us because I really need to see them again. But yeah, it was like really funny, and I'm glad we got to have our photo booth moment because we were eating it up. And then also, we forgot to mention before we went out to eat, we actually there's like a pier nearby, and we took like sunset pictures on them, and they turned out really cute.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. I love doing this so like we can just bounce off each other. But yeah, so then after our like little photo shoot, and like Kenny said, honestly, it caught the vibe of the group. But after our little photo shoot, we headed back. Oh no, we went one more time to the pineapple place, and I'm still thinking about it, you guys. It was so good. We just had to get like one final little like a final little moment, a final little taste of that Charleston taste.
Yeah, I this time I didn't get the full pineapple thing. I just got like a little pineapple soft serve with some sprinkles on top, and it hit the spot. It was fire. And I'm pretty sure it was on the way to the pineapple head that I had a little incident. So it was like low key kind of like raining or something. I forgot. And so I was walking, and I there was a puddle, and I thought I cleared it. Next thing you know, I'm like, okay, I prepped, and you just hear, like that's supposed to be me like splashing in the puddle, and I was like, oh well, I did not clear it, so that was like a little funny thing that happened. But yeah, it was worth it to get the soft serve. It was just so good. I was a little worried because I know some people in the group wanted it before, but we were prioritizing the pictures honestly over pineapple head. So I'm still glad we got to have it afterwards. And yeah, and then I know we were like me and Kelsey were like the main ones who wanted like a sweatshirt or something. So we went into this one shop and they didn't like have any like crew necks or anything. And we didn't want to support them anyways. I don't think us and those shop owners had, same beliefs. So we didn't want to support that. But yeah, so we just, just left that store, kept on walking. We watched some guy try to parallel park, which I was like, I can't even imagine having 6 girls watching you trying to parallel park. That would make me nervous as a girl. But yeah, that's pretty much all we did. We went back and we pretty much just watched Love Island. I'm pretty sure the same night we watched edits on YouTube of hot men, and that was amazing. Um and yeah, that's pretty much all I can remember. Oh, I know one night we played games and stuff, but I can't remember what night that was. I think that was earlier.
Yeah, so this night we did like blind karaoke, and then our YouTube started recommending edits, and that edit that we watched was like a 30-minute edit, but it was a great edit. I had like very like niche edits too, and every single edit was just like amazing. Like we were watching like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot about this. Yeah, if you like ever are bored on your girls trip and you guys need something to do, watch edits. Honestly, something about watching edits with like a group of girls. Mm-hmm.
And then the next day we got up. Well, actually, not necessarily bright and early, but around like 7:30. Honestly, I woke up a little bit later than I was supposed to, but it's fine because I still was able to finish getting ready by the time we said we wanted to leave. The people in the other car, they actually wanted to leave earlier because they just had a little bit of a longer drive than us, and people have work and stuff, and we still wanted to leave kind of earlyish too because Kelsey had work the next day. But we decided since we don't have to be as much as a rush, we were gonna go back downtown and go to a place called Sorrel because we didn't go to it our Charleston day because like the wait was too long, and so we figured it would probably be better this day because it's not a holiday anymore or like the holiday weekend. It's a Monday, so we went. We got Sorrel, the cutest little place ever in the inside, very aesthetic. I was a little like I don't know what to order, kind of, just because I've never been there before. But I ended up just getting a iced matcha latte with like a vanilla cold foam on top, and I'm pretty sure like vanilla syrup in it as well. And then I got a pistachio croissant, and I did not realize. I just assumed, oh, like they put the pistachio cream on top, but I didn't realize it was filled too with pistachio cream. So that was a pleasant surprise. So I really liked it. It was really good. And I was just glad to be in downtown Charleston again. Like it's such a vibe when there's like less people.
And I got the same thing as Kennedy, but I got the like they do like different flavors of the week or something, and I think this is their flavor of the week. I don't know if it's permanently there, but if it is, you guys should definitely get it. But I got the banana cold foam, and it was the perfect like cold foam to add to a drink, even if you don't like matcha and you drink coffee. I think it would be super super good because it adds like a little sweetness to it, but it's like also that banana flavor. If you're like a banana nut muffin or like banana bread type of person, you would love that cold foam. It was very very good. And like Kenny said, honestly, I love the little like driving into Charleston in the morning vibe. And just like walking around a little bit because we didn't walk even that much. We walked from the car to the cafe, but it was just a really nice vibe, and I honestly zero regrets about that. But we just sat outside, and everybody who got pastries got their ate their pastries. We drank our like our matchas because none of us got coffee. We all got matchas, and yeah, it was just the perfect vibe to like wrap up the trip. And then we headed back home, and we like we did like a lot of things on a ride home. We like went through a phase of watching what's that one YouTube channel video.
Kevin Lake.
Yeah, we were watching
Yeah.
their videos and we were like guessing like who it was. We did the one that was like guessing who the criminal was and then or like the felon or whatever. I think it was criminals what the title was. And then we did after that we started like doing a video a round of like guess the song. Yeah, me it was we did teams too. Yeah. Let's just say me and Jill we it was rough. It was very rough for us. We would like barely we would like we would if it was like we would finish the lyric instead of guessing the song, and then these two in the back would just like yell at everything at what it was. And then there was some biased judging at some points too, I will say, from a certain person that might go by the name Kennedy. But yeah, it was just a really fun time. We just like watching the different videos and like playing these different like YouTube games and everything. And then we stopped at our like halfway like lunch point and gas point at a Buc-ee's, and I'd never been into Buc-ee's. There's a Buc-ee's that's close to us, but I'd never been in it. We'd always like driven past it, and it's definitely an experience in there. Like they have absolutely everything, and the vibe also low key is kind of like I feel like I don't belong here vibe to me. I was like, maybe it was because also we were in Tennessee. I don't know, but yeah, we just got lunch and ate it in the car. I got a I think me and Kenny got the same thing. We got some sandwich, and then I was like in my sweet. I was feeling sweets or something because I got like a Rice Krispie treat and some cookie dough too.
Yeah, I think it definitely was because we're in Tennessee. Because let me tell you, you definitely see a lot more diversity in the ones that I in the one in well, I wouldn't say Richmond, but at least like Bowling Green. But yeah, I've never got the feeling I didn't belong there. So maybe it just was that we were in Tennessee. But yeah, the sandwich we got was we both got the club melt. For some reason, I like told Elizabeth earlier, like, oh yeah, like I got the sandwich, like I had egg on it. Like, I don't know why I thought there was egg on it this whole time, but then I was like looking for a sandwich. And I was like, oh wait, this is what I got. There's no egg on this. Like I don't know. And it was funny because like I kind of got my sandwich like away from them because we're like, okay, we kind of need to hurry this thing up after we kind of like showed Elizabeth like, this is what Buc-ee's looks like, and like I used the bathroom, which that was my first time using a Buc-ee's bathroom. Fire, very clean, and they do not lie about that, and it was like really big too. But and like I came over, I was like, oh yeah, this is the sandwich I got, club melt, and I was like, oh, I see someone else cut it, and lo and behold, it's Elizabeth. I'm like, this is why we're podcasting. We're just too similar. And then I got some candied cashews for myself, and then my mom wanted some, so I got some for her. And then we were in the checkout line. I saw some brownies. I was like, oh, I'll try this. And then we also filled up our wallets there too, which was really good. And that's pretty much our Buc-ee's experience.
No, I just want to say the way Kenny was like describing your sandwich, she was describing it as like a breakfast sandwich, because she was like egg and like bacon and cheese. And I was like, oh, so you got it for breakfast? And she was like, oh, no. And lo and behold, it wasn't even a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what was in my mind. Why I remember egg and bacon. Like I remember being like, yeah, egg, bacon, cheese, and like other stuff. I'm pretty sure that's what I said. No. That's a whole nother sandwich, girl.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, so like you went for breakfast time? And she was like, no. I was like, oh, okay. Anyways, so then after Bucky's, we continued playing a little bit more games, but then afterwards, we kind of started getting tired. So those who weren't sleeping. I was driving, so like I obviously wasn't sleeping, but like the back of the car and like Jill too, like kind of like fell asleep a little bit at one point. So it was just like me like singing along to the music. But yeah, anyways, we got back into town, dropped everyone off, and honestly, I feel like it was the perfect little girls trip weekend. And year three strong, and you know after like year four will be even better. Oh, we also were like, oh, we're gonna do like all 50 states. What if we? And then I think it was someone said like, what if we do like a state each summer? I was like, bro, we're gonna have to speed that up because at that point we're gonna be like 80 or 70 years old by the time we finish all of this. Because we've only hit like, well, we've hit three states, I guess, technically together. Like actually like visiting the state. So, yeah, so we made like a little like travel list and everything, a bucket list. We'll see how far that gets.
I have faith in us, at least the people in our car, because it's just less people easier to travel with, and because once we have big girl jobs, we might be able to travel more. We'll have more money to travel, and PTO. We'll have more money to go to better places. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. I have faith in us.
Yeah, let's do some manifesting for us, you guys. But that was our girls trip little recap for you guys. We're gonna link down all of the like links to any of like to Kennedy's TikTok, to the YouTube videos, all that stuff down in the show notes below. So make sure you guys are checking that out. Excuse me. After you've finished this episode.
Yes, what Liz said. And make sure, do not leave here being a stranger. Make sure you follow us if you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify. Subscribe if you're listening or watching on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe, and do all those things. Go to all of our social medias. We would really appreciate it a lot. We just want to add more people to the Girls Lounge family. We really want to grow, and those little things help us more than you would even know.
And if you're a visual learner like both me and Kennedy are, make sure you guys check out the Instagram because we're going to have so many pictures for you guys of everything that we just discussed. If you're sitting there, you're just like, I wonder what that looks like. Just like me, yeah, go check out the Instagram.
Again, thank you guys for watching / listening, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.